are back now. Sorted out our first initial TVZ. We sorted off whatever tech issues were happening over in the venue, and here we are now continuing our broadcast. This time, not with a TVZ, but with a TVP coming out here.
The stars aligned. We wrapped up our first series, DRG getting the 2-0 over his opponent, and now we're getting to our second series here, a fresh best of 3, a TVP. Again, we're able to cover it all.
Oh, love it when it all aligns like that. And speaking of covering it all, here we are now on Site Delta, not Airlines, where we're here in the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way. In the top left-hand corner, we are getting a quick little second to sort out some hotkeys. Yep, tis always an issue when you're playing Adelan and when you're playing on a new PC. Sometimes the settings don't save to your account.
Yeah, all good, all good. It's one of those things that that sometimes do slip by your mind, but it's going to be impacting some of these earlier rounds. But once we get the ball rolling, then our players should be good to go. So there we go as we dive back into the intros.
Beautiful. Just as we roll the ball. Anyway, here at the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way to the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player going to be representing Team Liquid. We, of course, have SKillous.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the green Terran player representing Berserker Esports. It is FoxeR.
And out of all the players who were able to make it out to the open bracket light, FoxeR is definitely one of them who I was most excited to look out for. Very active player, especially when it comes to the NA scene, but unfortunately hasn't quite been able to, really break into more of the into more international tournaments and events. So, yeah, now that we're having one held in the United States itself, it's glad to see him come out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where FoxeR, he's been around for quite some time. This year specifically, he has been a little bit more focused and fixated on competing, as one SCV is going to be going down already. Not the best start here for FoxeR, but this year he has been focusing a lot more on improving and competing, and that was reflected in ESL Masters summer and winter. He had some better and stronger performances, making it into the playoff stage, and yeah, we'll see if he can go even further here, but he's up against one of the best Protoss that Europe has to offer.
Yeah, not just one of the best, but one of the best PvT Protoss players in particular, at least historically. SKillous does have a rather unconventional style, which can be a little bit of a gamble here and there, but in PvT, especially with a lot of Terran players kind of figuring out the meta on TVP, SKillous is one of the few players who can really still keep them all on their toes and really keep Terran players guessing as to what he's going to whip out next.
Exactly. SKillous, he isn't always by the book. He isn't always the most standard of players, so gotta keep your eye on him. He can always have his own flair, his own quirks to his playstyle. For now, gonna be an economic opener out of FoxeR, going for a Rax expand. It was a single gas opener. Now we have our second gas geyser on the way. So again, very economic from our American Terran, or as he's just trying to chip away at that adept as best he can. Oh, does take a shot to the face. Meanwhile, back at home, SKillous, we have our tech of choice.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Stargate coming out from SKillous. It is, in fact, going to be a Twilight Council opening. We'll see if he decides to play a bit safer and opt for a Blink opening, or, every now and then, Protoss players like to switch things up with a little bit of a charge timing.
Yeah, they like to switch it up here, and SKillous, I wouldn't have put it past him, but there we go. It is going to be Blink here from our red Protoss player. Now, the next question becomes, how many gateways? For now, we have 2 gateways on the way. 2-gate Blink is just a really economic opener, a really good way to get into a fast third base, or we could double down. We could throw down a 3rd gateway, even up to 4 gates.
Well, that is our 2nd gate for the time being. So be keeping our eyes peeled. We do have a bit of an earlier robo facility as the Reaper bounces in, bounces out, and will get taken down in the end. And I do have a little bit of an earlier robo facility that could be for observers if he's a little bit paranoid of mind drop or something coming his way, or could be for a bit of an earlier warp prism.
Yeah, and there we go. We have confirmation. So it was going to be 2 gate into a third, so a very economic opener. FoxeR confirms all of this. He got into the main earlier. He saw the Twilight Council researching. He saw all the gateways, and now with this Hellion, he confirms the third base as well. So FoxeR, he knows that he doesn't really have anything to worry about. He can focus on his economy. He can even cut some corners. Can delay tank production if he wants to, because again, there's no hyper aggression coming across the map.
Yeah. Tank production from FoxeR will only be something he really needs to look into if he's planning to go for a bit of an earlier timing attack, as the eBay does get thrown down. Looks like that's what he's going for.
Yeah, we've got that eBay for +1. We're getting into our add-on swaps. Tech Lab is now done on that factory, and there we go. Tank production has commenced. At the same time, we're committing to 2 Widow Mines with this drop. 2 Widow Mines straight into the main base. There is a spotter pylon in position. SKillous does have a couple of stalkers in between the natural and the main base to react to be able to shut down whatever comes his way.
Yeah, just keeping his eyes on the minimap for the time being. And there we go. Does spot the medevac. Probes do get pulled. I would say just about in time. FoxeR wants the best possible connections, and he is able to take out one of those stalkers. A little bit of an unfortunate blink timing here from SKillous, but when it's all said and done, the Widow Mines take out 1 probe each plus a stalker. That's not too bad for FoxeR.
Yeah, not too bad whatsoever here. He also gets a scout as well. He does confirm additional gateways on the way. Now we have even more here in production. He also saw the additional researching of the Twilight Council, and this medevac should we get a little bit of extra scouting as well as we do escape out of the main base. So not too bad with building up towards 8 gates and charge.
There we go, and that's why it was very important for FoxeR to be able to scout that. As he leaves with his medevac, he knows that SKillous, he was playing safe and he was playing economic to start things off, but now that we're in the mid game, he is looking to switch things up hard, and he is looking to go for that charge timing. Warp Prism now on the way. FoxeR really scrambling for defense here. I do not believe he has the third base yet.
Yeah, so far we're still only on a 2-base setup here. We have 3 Raxes here, still no third CC, but we should be working on that soon. As though the medevac almost made it back home, but it does get shut down. And behind this, SKillous looking to spice it up as he gets his third base up and running. There is a Dark Shrine.
Indeed, anytime Dark Shrine. SKillous isn't even behind this game, as he does have both the base and the worker lead. But hey, you know, might as well. If he's able to snipe that Raven, if FoxeR throws down 1 too many mules, those DTs can really be a final nail in the coffin. But for now, SKillous does have to be careful. You know, FoxeR has a little bit of a window of opportunity where he does have stim, where he does have a couple of tanks, where SKillous doesn't quite yet have his upgrades, doesn't quite have his DTs, doesn't quite have anything really.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, across the map, there we go. Zealots into the main base. The army has arrived. FoxeR was throwing down a third CC behind this, so he's not all in. He's looking to expand, but Zealots, they do get into the middle line. They get into the main base.
Yeah, really great move here from SKillous. He knew that FoxeR was moving out with his main army, so yeah, just coming in with a handful of Zealots. Not too many of them, just about 3 or 4 per warp in. Can really mess up his production, can really mess up his mineral line. 9 SCVs have already gone down as FoxeR is trying to dip into the SERP base. Techs are super exposed, and they do get blinked on as, yeah, the Zealots get right on top of the main army. There's even a DT here that's trying to help out, but I don't think there's a scan.
Yeah, no scan available. This DT, there we go. Finally, it is going to be shut down, but that was a big loss at the same time. 22 SCVs have gone down. Yeah. We have Zealots and Dark Templar here in the main base, wreaking havoc, shutting everything down. There's no scan available. Not anymore. And FoxeR, he's falling apart back at home. Across the map, his main army gets thwarted as well, and things are, yeah, not looking good. GG gets called. SKillous will take game number 1.
GG. Very, very good reactive play coming out from SKillous to immediately have that decisiveness to say, okay, that's the main Terran army. I'm just gonna go around with my Warp Prism real quick. I know I should be safe back at home. All I need to do is defend, and you, on the other hand, have nothing back at home to defend.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, it was all thanks to the Observer, right? There was the Observer that was parked outside the natural, saw everything, was never shut down, so he saw the move out, saw how vulnerable his opponent was, and was able to punish FoxeR for not being able to deal with that Observer, wasn't able to shut it down, and yeah, SKillous in full control that game.
Yeah. Yeah, very handy, very decisive victory coming out from him here. But we'll see what FoxeR has in store as we get ready for game number 2. Going to be on a very different map.
Yeah. Very different. We're going to be loading into Hecate here for game number 2. Looking to see if FoxeR can tie it up 1-1 or if SKillous will take the 2-0. Personally, I'm hoping for the ace match. I want to be able to sink our teeth into this, but we'll see. Bearing in mind as well, the winner of this series will be facing off against DRG in the next round.
Yeah, has been waiting there for a little while and has a little bit more time to wait.
Exactly. I'm sure he's just been enjoying his time in the Americas. Don't know how often he can travel there. It is also important to note that all these players, they did pave their own way, make their own way to the Americas off their own kind of dime. And yeah, I mean, that's why there's that much more pressure on these players to make a deep run.
There really, really is. As we continue our series here on Hecate, we're in the bottom left-hand corner map spawning. All the way to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player come down. And representing Team Liquid, we have SKillous.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the green Terran player from the land of the Americas representing Berserker Esports. It is FoxeR.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing for you to have noted there about how much pressure is really on these players. In the open bracket, there is no payout yet.
Yeah.
They won't really be able to, recoup the cost of flying on down until they make it into that knockout stage.
Exactly. And, I don't envy a lot of these international players, flying on over. So I do wish them all the best of luck. Not just them, but also, of course, our more local players as well. We do see FoxeR going for a low ground eBay block, but SKillous, he does get eyes on this in time. He did go for the low ground wall. As a result, he pulls the boys and he will not be forced to take the unnatural natural.
That he will not. Does mess up the mineral mining a little bit here in the early game, but it's still better than leaving a third base very, very exposed and very, very vulnerable to a potential 2-base timing from your Terran opponent.
Yeah, exactly. That's also why a couple of Protoss players on maps like this, as we try to throw down a second one. Oh my god!
What a Chad FoxeR is. SCV will go down in the end, but this is really messing up SKillous' mining.
Yeah, exactly. Forced to take, extra gas geyser, delays expansion that much longer. Behind this, FoxeR is going into his factory, into a delayed CC, because he did want to be a little bit more aggressive. Ideally, he would have liked to have gone into a reactored Cyclone or even Helium production, but again, SKillous plays it out safely. I was just about to say that, this is also a big reason why on maps like Hecate, we do see, a gate expand on the low ground here from Protoss players so they can get eyes on an eBay block.
Yeah, very unorthodox gate expand at that. Not really making use of the choke point over there. Well, you're kind of making use of the choke point, but you're not building and filling up that choke point. You're kind of creating another one with your Sim City and with your Nexus.
Yeah, as opposed to the more standard Reaper blocks, right? With the jump into the main base. So kind of a different approach here, but again, SKillous wanted to make sure he could expand on location. Now he's got a full wall off where he's working on one to shut down any kind of Hellion aggression. Meanwhile, FoxeR behind this. Oh my god, he's expanding. It's not a one base all in, but he's doubling down, delaying his starport by quite a lot.
Yeah, that's 2 more barracks that he's thrown down. He is still getting a Cyclone for now, so yeah, I'm just trying to read what Fox is doing here, but fortunately I feel illiterate.
Well, basically, this is just a really aggressive build here because he's going to be delaying his starports by quite a lot. Or sorry, I should say delaying his medevacs by quite a lot. He's going to be building up a very powerful, very strong bio-based army and eventually going to be pushing on 2 bases. This is going to be a much stronger push compared to the previous game just because of, just because this time we're not kind of wasting our time or spending time on a winter mine drop, for example. We're just already working on the army.
Yeah, Sim already on the way. Tech Lab about to finish up on that factory, and it is going to be an out-on swap for now. Okay. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to not go for a tank when you only have 1 gas geyser being taken here, but that is something that is possible. Skillous now moving in with his
Up.
shaded adept. He will be able to make it in, and he will be able to get a complete scout on the production and on the gas couch. Skillous knows everything he needs to know right now. He knows how aggressive Fox is being, and he is doubling down on his defenses.
Yeah, we have, a secondary pylon being thrown down. A third gateway gets thrown down as well. So instead of the previous 2-gate opener into a fourth, we have 3 gateways, and we're delaying our expansion. We're delaying our third base here in favor of a Colossus production.
Very interesting choice here, but not an unexpected one from Skillous. Man likes his Colossus. What can you really say? But yeah, it is something that can definitely be very effective against a 3 base, provided you do time your Nexus overcharge, Chrono Boost. That's what it's called. Your Chrono Boost well enough to actually get those Colossus out in time. They will make very, very short work of Marines.
100%, and that first Colossus should be out by the time this army gets across the map. Again, really good scouting. I love how active Skillous is being as well. He's just delaying here. There's no medevac to sustain this army, forcing out stims, picking up a couple of units here and there. So far, we haven't lost anything here. The Stalkers, they do remain alive, and yeah, they picked up, what, 2 Marines, a Widowmine? Good stuff. Up.
Yeah, fantastic micro coming out from Skillous. Picks up another Widowmine, and yeah, once again, just chipping away at this army, making them that much more vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. Still not losing anything, still picking apart this. 2 Marines have gone down, 2 Widowmines as well. Behind this, the first Colossus is already in production. Extend Thermal Lance as well. And again, by the time this army moves out, we will be ready for it. The question becomes, how committed is FoxeR going to be? This could still lead into a 2-base all-in. Bear that in mind. We could try to pull the boys with this, or we could be a little bit more reserved and throw down a 3rd CC. We don't have to be all in. Regardless, it's like this is still designed to be aggressive.
Yeah, you don't have to be all in, but you might as well pull your boys while you're at it.
You're like, look, is it really a TVP if we don't pull the boys? Like, come on.
Come on. As Skillous finally feels safe enough with his 1 Colossus to throw down this 3rd base. A little bit of a vulnerable location for it to be in. Shield batteries only now being thrown down, but I do like that Skillous is hanging around the ramp. He knows that he can retreat if things get too dicey.
Definitely, and here comes the army. Here comes finally the push of FoxeR. Now, I believe 2 Colossi are going to be out in time for this push, so it's going to be quite a lot to overcome. FoxeR is throwing down a 3rd CC behind this, so he's not all in. He's going to be expanding, but this push has to trade. Not saying it has to deal economic damage, but at least killing a Colossus, trading well with the army, but he has to be very careful. He does scan, he does see the positioning here of Skillous.
He does, and...
Up! Who is it?
It's me!
No!
I'll leave.
Yeah, all good, as it does look like we have lost one of our casters here. It's okay, I can of course share screen myself. Should be all good. Just to resolve any issues here. Again, unfortunately, it's one of those things where in StarCraft, sometimes connection to BNet can be a little bit shaky.
Yeah, quite shaky.
I mean, hey, at least you haven't lost connection to the internet. Like, you're still here. You're still part of the pool.
I can hear.
Let's go. Just waiting for the timeout then. I mean, thankfully as well, this didn't occur in the middle of a fight. The fight is about to occur, though, so... Here we go, as we are going to be getting into this, and the countdown has concluded. Looks like we're just going to be getting ready here to time it out. Again, we do see Skillous in position here on top of the ramp. It does spot the rotation with that Stalker.
Yeah, and is just getting into position. He's got his eyes on that army going back and forth, and he is just trying to suss it out. Thermal Lance not done just yet, but still, no tanks behind this army, not that many Marauders. Plus, with the support of these force fields, Skillous is feeling confident enough just to chase a couple of these units down, even trapping a Marauder and a Cyclone.
Yeah, big pickoffs there by Skillous, picking the army apart. At the same time, we do have a drop into the natural base. We pull the boys. We shut down one of the Widowmines before we can get a shot off. The second Widowmine should be able to burrow, and we do not get any kills yet. FoxeR did back up with his main army. Gets a Stalker at least, but not much else.
Yeah, not much indeed, and it's not going to get much easier. It's not going to get any easier for him from here on out. All of the Colossus survived. but now they have extended range. They have extended thermal lance ready. A couple more gateways do get thrown down. SKillous even able to throw down Templar Archives for a little bit more diversity in his splash damage. A couple of high Templar with Storm later on.
Yeah. As you're pointing out, SKillous is just getting further and further ahead, diversifying his splash damage, throwing down additional gateways, getting his production going. FoxeR has some catching up to do. Now, thankfully, he didn't overcommit, right? He didn't throw away his army trying to force his way up the ramp. No, he was a very mature decision, did back off, did lose some units, yes, but his main army has been preserved, so he still has a chance here to fight toe-to-toe with the forces of SKillous. Not going to be easy, but he can try to pull this off.
Yeah, that's what he is gonna try to do from this position. The turns have tabled a little bit, and SKillous is now looking to be the aggressor. His Colossus are very exposed. They are cut off from the rest of his army, but that's still 4 Colossus. You still gotta respect that with Bioterran units.
Yeah, there's sentries, there's immortals underneath it as well. We tried to dive on top of the army, but one medevac goes down, and SKillous, he's looking to snowball out of control. It was a brave move by FoxeR to try to catch those Colossi exposed, but really they can cover themselves with 4 Colossus. Hey, you can do anything. You may as well shoot up.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, but you're as tall to shoot up. FoxeR are pulling the boys, but it's too little too late. The Archons are in position. Every single SCV goes down. If FoxeR somehow survives this, I don't think he's going to have much more of a life in this game.
Yeah, exactly. As we do bling on forward, the final units go down. GG gets called. SKillous snowballs out of control and takes the series 2-0.
GG. Very well played here from SKillous. Maybe taking that series 2-0.
We'll be taking that series in the end. Congratulations to SKillous. My condolences to FoxeR. What I will say is that, again, SKillous did have some really good scouting information, was able to recognize what was happening. Remember, there was that one moment where the Adept shaded into the main base, saw everything in the main, and immediately he knew not to expand then and there. He knew to focus on his tech, on his army first, to feel safe enough to expand, and to have a strong enough army to withstand the eventual push of his opponent.
Yeah, once again, very decisive play coming out from SKillous. Just automatically, once he gets that information, once he scouts what his opponent is doing, where his opponent is going, he immediately knows what the appropriate response is. And in this case, like you said, it was just a tech up. It was just to rush out Colossus as quick as possible until we got to the point where the Colossus were just out of control. We hit critical mass at 4 Colossus. That's how powerful they can be against a pure Bioterran army, even with Marauders.
Exactly. No fear with that kind of hefty army with all those giant Colossi. And again, congratulations to SKillous. My condolences to FoxeR, as he is going to be knocked down to the lower brackets, where he will have a chance to redeem himself. We have a couple of updates coming in. Looks like Shin did 2-0 Geralt. Shin is waiting for the winner of Lambo and Reaper. And we have our series coming up, SKillous versus DRG.
Yeah. Going to be a PvZ this time, so we're giving a little bit of a break from the Terran players here from the broadcast. DRG and SKillous just conducting their vetoes now.
Yeah, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we're going to be following our 2 advancing players into that upper semifinal. Still a couple more matches to go before those qualifying matches, but these 2 players are one step closer, and man, this is going to be a spicy one. This is going to be a solid ZVP.
Ooh. Yeah, it really does seem like whoever wins this is going to be the favorite to qualify from the upper bracket.
Yeah, but it's likely. It is likely. But for now, again, we're going to be going on that break. We'll be back shortly here with some more StarCraft.
We'll see you soon.